Once upon a time, a giant puffball was floating in space. The puffball was made of static electricity and black fuzz. It vibrated and sparked. It rolled over itself and changed shape, though it remained consistently spherical. The ball moved like lightning, like water, like earth, all within itself and over itself. The surface was never the same way twice, and it moved through space in a constant state of motion, gradual forward motion, and lightning-quick, water-quick, earthquake-quick motion within and over itself. Down on Earth, a woman was watching herself in the mirror. She had a brown face and brown eyes. Her eyes were much darker than her face, and the fluorescent light in the bathroom made everything a sort of white, even when it wasn't. Her dark eyes reflected the reflection, and the turning of her head, gradually side to side, hurt her neck and pinched a coach whip muscle up and down the left side of her back. Her lips were fat, and her cheeks were sallow and sunken. She looked straight ahead, the pain leaving her back and neck, and she crawled her fingertips up the smudged mirror. Like bony brown insects, backs cracked and lined, 5 legs to an invertebrate. She looked at her hands and the reflections of her hands under her hands. She looked in the mirror, and her face was not what it had been. Her face was black. It was moving in on itself. Her yellow teeth shone bright through tendrils of whipping lightning, and her dark eyes looked bright now. Her skin was not skin. It crackled and crunched like an old TV, like the one before the one they had now, the one that her husband was watching in the other room. All black, no white. What now was skin turned in on itself, shaping and reshaping new faces for her, none of them human. Her husband, watching TV, limply and listlessly, was sprawled on their bed, a big bed, big enough for one big person and one small person. Her husband was big, and he was sprawled bigger, both feet and both hands poking over the edges of the big bed. If his wife had asked him what he was watching, he would not have been able to answer. The images moved through the room towards him, and hit his eyes and went into his brain, and it didn't matter that this happened, because he was not using his eyes and he was not using his brain. He was not even using the remote, because it would not have made a difference what sequences of image entered his reticles. In this state the fall found them, a state of disrepair and the state of Iowa. Lightning filled the room. The great big black puffball from outer space hit the earth in a farmer's field and instantly ruined all the corn. Each kernel fell from each cob and gnawed through their husks and crawled free under the static veil of the alien darkness. And the darkness spread through Iowa and Kansas, giving the United States a black pupil in its wild eye. Westward and eastward, Nebraska and Missouri, outwards and outwards, quickly in all directions, its tendrils and tendons cracking and snapping, breaking black lightning, striking horizontal, crashing and crying, collapsing over middle America, a black eye spreading to a rotten core. All of the earth was eaten, and drifted away from its orbital home, and the tendons and tendrils, torn and terribly frayed, repaired themselves in the oxygen-empty environment. The staticky black world-eater went on its way, moving forward slowly, but within, millions upon millions moved, each bolt of black lightning curling and cracking like a coach whip cramp in someone's back.